Nikolai Alexeyevich, there are still disputes take place about the scale of the river Barskaun and the lake Iссык-Куль pollution with sodium cyanide. So first I would like to hear from the expert scientist who has undertaken an independent study of this area right after the unfortunate incident. What were the emergency scales?
Nothing serious happened, but there was actually ingress of contamination into the water of the river Barskaun at its rise. Moreover, there would not have been any consequence if the floodgates of watering systems of Tamga and Barskaun villages were closed. However, for some reason they were open.
So the question is, in your opinion, how educated were Kyrgyz experts' decision about the eliminating of the accident consequences?
The first violation was to open the floodgates of watering systems. Otherwise, there would not have been the contamination of the villages' areas, I mean. The second violation was to use a chlorine-containing substance that caused all major defeat. The only thing that we cannot determine is the chlorine content, because it has never been measured. Just imagine the scale of the contamination. Approximately more than 15,000 square meters of soil were flooded with such highly concentrated chlorine solution. Obviously, all this gets into the air. In this case, defeat of the respiratory organs, mucosal irritations take place as observed among the locals.
In what amount the cyanide is life-threatening?
Well, firstly, we must distinguish it as poisonous, or rather not poisonous, but toxic substance, with generally poisoning effect. The critical organ for this substance is primarily the central nervous system. Due to say the least, low professionalism of those responsible for the elimination of consequences of the accident. One of the methods used was the use of calcium hypochlorite, or to be exact, 2/3 of the subsalt of calcium hypochlorite. Interesting thing is that this substance is really being used, but within the technical process, because sodium cyanide is required for the flotation of gold in order to obtain a temporary connection, and then it is degassed. But all offer set is true only for the process which meets all the necessary requirements. In this case, we then performed an investigation and have received some data. There have been attempts to shuffle off the blame in use of calcium hypochlorite on the Ministry of Health. But the most interesting thing is that the Ministry of Health cannot afford to use a 10% solution of calcium hypochlorite. 10% and 20%, it is almost a paste. There is equipment for this, called Mobile Spray Station, AS-14 among other, which was in the inventory of the Ministry of Emergency Situations, of the Kyrgyz Republic, I mean. The Health Ministry had nothing but automaxes. It is, if someone has once seen a backpack device with a tube with a mesh. So the most could be there was a 1% solution. Just through that mesh nothing else can penetrate. And of course, the scale of use is incommensurable. The maximum admission of the substance has already begun since the moment of use of chlorinated lime. I can mention as an example a recent incident at the water park in Leningrad, in St. Petersburg. Here is the clearest example of a violation of chlorination device that doses the chlorine concentration in the water of the swimming pool led to defeat with exactly the same symptoms as in these villages.
Совершенно точно с такой же симптоматикой, которая была и вот в этих селах.
What human organs are primarily affected by sodium cyanide?
The main manifestation is connected with effects on the central nervous system. If the dose is high, the poisoning occurs instantly. We recalculated the dose and I carried out a post-event analysis. The highest dose calculated is equal to the number raised to the 4th or 5th negative power, what is several orders less than the damaging dose.
But whether this substance may cause cancer or mutations of descendants of the local residents?
No way, the substance is neither a mutagen nor a carcinogen.
However, both politicians and leaders of non-governmental sector still actively moot the question of extreme danger due to the cyanide pollution of the river Barskaun and of the arm of the lake Iссык-Куль. Could you, Nikolai Alexeyevich, clearly answer the question whether such statement holds some validity?
I generally try to, so to say, dissociate myself from all that is called politics, although I have a judgment on this issue. So, as a scientist, I can say that all these arguments are entirely unfounded. And as I believe and as well own up, this is a very dangerous action on the part of the politicians, because the most terrible thing is a chronic stress. The stress is what leads to decrease in immunity, and this may cause cancer and that like. Of course, no genetic disorders can take place, but the chronic disease may exacerbate and so on and so forth. A big killer for a human may become just a word if it is used by unscrupulous people in order to raise their prestige or to reach any other personal goals of theirs.
In other words, we can say with confidence that decades after the accident, tourists need not to fear to rest on the banks of the Kyrgyz lake.
When the accident happened, I said that careless statements of local scientists, journalists and other activists who said that it is a tragedy almost for 1,000 years and so on, this is utter nonsense. And I say that because of such statements can be lost jewel, which was used for healing people. First, tourists come from all the surrounding regions of Siberia, from abroad. Then I said, certainly it is possible using Iссык-Куль and how. We have, I remember, with pleasure bathed in this water. Then I said that the water of Iссык-Куль could just be poured in bottles and used. So clean and pleasant it was. Moreover, we scanned it too.